About the cherry tree. As I travel your land now in your time, many people ask me, is the story of the cherry tree true or not? And I do chuckle. I give them a little bit of a background of that story. Parson Weems was the author. He actually was a part-time parson and a full-time writer of children's books, a modern-day Aesop, if you will. He would take different virtues that not only the Greek but we Americans also prized: courage, honesty, loyalty, bravery, and he'd write stories about them so that young readers could see the value of those, and he'd use historical characters to do that. I knew Parson Weems, and he actually gave me a copy of his book, my biography, and I read it. And so many people say, well, then you approved of the cherry tree story. Well, quite frankly, that first edition didn't have the cherry tree in it. It was published 1800, 1801, after I passed in 1799. And it was so successful, he went through many, many different editions. The story of the cherry tree didn't appear until several later editions, and again, it was wildly successful. The way that the story appears in that particular edition is I didn't chop the tree down, I girded the tree. It was a cherry tree. It was my father's most popular cherry tree, and we had many of them there. What occurred is I was given a silver axe when I was 6 years old, and it was sharp. And what does a 6-year-old boy do with an axe? Well, he uses it. And I went to my mother's herb garden and I chopped down all her chickpeas with it. And as I went through those things, you look for other things to do. And if you ever cut the bark of a cherry tree, it is a wonderful cut. It's like cutting leather. So the word got out that my father became angry, because when you cut the bark like that, then it is typically a death sentence for a cherry tree. And he was asking who cut the cherry tree. I got wind of it. I came into the room, and he turned to me and said, "George, did you cut the cherry tree?" And I paused a minute, but I said, "Yes, Father, I cut the cherry tree." I cannot tell a lie. You know I cannot tell a lie. And when I talk to groups of young people, I ask them, what do you think my father would do? And they would say, well, they might have spanked me, or might have taken a belt to me or something. And after they're through asking those questions, I say, well, he didn't do any of those things. He came over and he embraced me. And his approach was, it was so very much more important that his son was a young man of character, would tell the truth, no matter what the consequences would be. No matter if I were fearful of his wrath, I would tell the truth. And he said he would rather sacrifice 1,000 cherry trees because he knew his son would tell the truth.